Hello my friends, Paul here in the RoJoBe Music Workshop, and welcome to part 3 of the Japanese Sanshin headstock or pegbox rebuild. For those of you who haven't seen the first 2 episodes, I'll just explain quickly that I was making a video talking about my banjoleles, the ones I built, rebuilt, refurbished, changed, whatever. And while I was recording that video, I accidentally knocked over my Sanshin. It fell over onto the floor and landed on the headstock, which subsequently exploded. So in the first episode of this series project, I had glued one new piece into the headstock on the side, and then I proceeded to put in the second one. So those 2 pieces are in, and then in part 2 I was getting them to final shape and size and sanding and putting filler in the low spots all the way around, and then sanded all that nice and smooth. So it's gone really well. I'm really happy with it. But now, for this episode, part 3 is perhaps one of the more tricky parts of it. I'm going to cover the entire headstock in veneer. So it's all prepared. It's ready to go. The only thing is, where I've sanded it so well, it's kind of smooth, really smooth. Especially where the filler is really glass smooth. So I'm thinking that that might be too smooth for the glue to bind to. So what I'm going to do before I start putting the veneer on is just go over the whole thing with some pretty coarse sandpaper. I've got a little piece of 80 grit here. I'm just going to lightly go over it, just to sort of scuff it up, roughen it if you like, so that the glue can really bind to it. Okay, so let me get the camera in position in a way that you'll see what I'm doing. Right, so I'm going to be working in this area, so let me just zoom in. Okay, so I've got 4 pieces of veneer cut to kind of size, and I've got them marked. So there's 2 there that say S, those are the sides, and then we've got 1 for the front, F, and 1 for the back, E. So, first of all, like I said, I'm just going to, scuff it all up with some coarse grit sandpaper. I've already done the back. Let me just check. Yeah. So, literally just a very light rub over with this 80 grit, just to, scuff up the surface in a kind of a circular motion to give it, bit of a slightly rough finish, not too much. I'm not trying to take any material off, I'm just sort of roughening it up to give the glue something to bind to. So that should be fine. That's literally all it needs, just a little very gentle rub over. Now I should actually mention that this in the middle here, I'm not going to veneer that. First of all, it's really difficult, and secondly, it's not really necessary. So what I probably will do after I finish the veneer is just put some stain in there, this part here and all around the inside, just to darken it slightly, to try and match the veneer that I'm putting on. I should do that first before I put the veneer on, but honestly it doesn't really matter too much. I'll just have to be a little bit more careful when I'm putting the stain on after the veneer, so that I don't get any of it on the veneer. Right, that is enough. That's literally all it needed, just a very gentle rub over. So I'm going to start with the sides, and I've kind of, you know, put it on there and mocked it up how it's going to go. It's, you know, it's really tricky because of all the contours, and particularly this part here at the top. It is going to be tricky, and I'm not sure how well it's going to go, if I'm perfectly honest. I've got some clamps here ready, just off camera here. But yeah, like I said, it's going to be tricky. And I'm just going to do a little bit at a time. So I'm going to put glue from here to sort of halfway up, and get the veneer, you know, kind of positioned in there, and then do the top half. This bit won't be too bad, but coming up here and then around here, that is going to be tricky. So I'm going to just do one side at first, and then, you know, when I'm happy with that, I'll leave it to set for a few minutes to start sticking, and then do the other side so that I've got both sides clamped at the same time, and, you know, not wasting time doing literally one side, wait for the glue to dry, do the other side, wait for the glue to dry, then the front, then the back. That's going to be too time consuming to do it that way. So let's make a start. I think I'll use a paintbrush for the glue, a fairly fine one. I haven't got any tissue here. Let me just go and grab some quick. Yeah, definitely should have done that before I started, but okay. So I'm going to use some of this is literally my last sheet of this, so I'm going to be a bit sparing with it. Okay, so let's start to get the glue on. I'll zoom in just a touch more. Yeah, not too much. Right, okay, so I'm just going to do like the first half here from this joint here to about halfway up, first of all. Let's see how we go. So I do want a decent amount of glue, but I don't want so much that it's going to squeeze out everywhere and make a real mess. But, you know, as I've mentioned a million times before, the most important thing is 100% coverage of the gluing area. Right, so let's just start with that, see how we go. Make sure we've got good coverage. Right, okay, so first piece going on. So I want to get a clamp on here where there's kind of the inward curve. So let's just get a clamp on there first. Yeah. No one said this was going to be easy, did they? Right, so let's just try and get that clamp on there. Yeah, it keeps moving, you see. It's really difficult. Right. Just move that across a bit because I want to make sure I've got enough to cover this part here. Yeah, that's not going so well. Let me just clean that up and start again. Right, let's try that again. So I'm going to scoot it this way so that, like I said, I've got enough to cover this part here. So let's get that kind of like that. How's that? It looks okay. Right. Okay, so I'm going to get some glue you can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm going to get some glue in the top half as well. Hopefully you can kind of see what I'm doing there. Right, okay. So let's just make sure that's going to go down there. It's not quite, it needs to twist that a little bit. Loosen the clamp, just give that a little twist. How's that now? Yeah, that's better. Okay. So try and get another clamp now up here at the top part of the inward curve. Yeah, that's not going so well. Okay. Oops. Let's tighten that one up a bit. Okay. Right. So if I can get that clamp on there now. Right. Very, very tricky. We'll make sure there's no bubbles in it. Let's try that again. That's probably as good as it's going to get. Okay, a bit more glue around this top part. Just use my finger for that. Okay. Yeah, this is where it gets tricky because it's going to curve. Sorry, it's going to curve this way and that way. So pretty tricky this part. Really not sure how I'm going to do that part now. Let's try a little bit of tape on the top edge. Just remove that bit of glue. That doesn't look too bad actually. A little bit of a bubble there, a bit of a bubble there. That's not too bad actually. Yeah. I need to try and get a couple more clamps. Let's put one there. And wow. Okay, try and get another one at the top here as well. Let's try and go from the back actually. See how that looks. Great. Okay. Okay. Right, okay, so it's kind of there. Zoom out a little bit. Yeah, it's not ideal. Ouch. Okay, I think it will work like that. A bit more tape on this one. Yeah, not an easy shape to do, but that's probably as good as that's going to get right now. I'll try and get a clamp in there if I can. It's going to have to be a skinny one, or how about a rubber band? That might do it. Unconventional clamping methods. It's not ideal, not ideal. Okay, I think that might work. Okay, right. So I'm gonna leave that for a few minutes, and then try and get the other side on at the same time. But looking at that, I'm not sure it's going to be that easy. So actually, I think I'm going to wait. Sorry, wait. I'm going to leave that to set probably for like 30 minutes or so. It's not going to work the way I wanted it to, where I can get both sides on glued and clamped at the same time. So I'm going to leave that to set up, then probably about 30 minutes, and then I'm going to take the clamps off and just trim up the edges and then do the other side. So I'm going to do that off camera, but I will record doing the front and back because they're going to be a bit different. But to do the other side, it's just basically going to be a repeat of what you've just seen me do. So there's no point filming me doing both sides. It's going to be the same thing again. So bit of a short video, this one. What's it been? 18 minutes. So yeah, so I'm going to off camera let that set, tidy up the edges, and then do the other side, and then part 4 will be at least front or back, possibly front and back. They should be a little bit easier, the front and the back, because there's not so many contours going more than one way. It's going to be from the top, it's going to be straight and then curve down, and then from the back it's going to be straight and then curve up. So they should be a little bit easier, he says, but we will see. Okay, so that will be part 4 coming soon. In the meantime, please look after yourselves, look after each other. We will see you soon. Peace out.